Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about Japanese 1.4 nanometer gamble. So let's dive deep into it. Now I'm reasonably sure this has become your news feed for past few weeks. So let's understand some context here. In 1980s and 1990s, that decade was golden decade for Japan. They were the leader, and I do not mean leader were like, they were a bit ahead. They were like 90% of silicon kind of lead. They were GG at that point in time. Now like, okay, what the hell happened? Well, two other nations came into the fold. One was South Korea, another was Taiwan. Now, here's the they had two big puppies. You may have heard of them, TSMC and Samsung, and there were other also smaller ones. And over time, they literally they just flat out. They slowly shrunk the basically Japanese market from like daddy stakes to like we are still here. So it was a slow loose of what you call the grip on the market they had. And over time, by the time 2005 started to come around, they were like, yeah, we lost it. At that point, the battle has become just like, please stay in the race, so to say. So that happened. And be mindful, China is also there, but China is very, behind in technology, but they are very clever in implementation. They know for a fact that every Tom, Dick and Harry is like, hey, I need 4 nanometer. No, you don't. You need 200 nanometers, you need 48 nanometers. If I disable these two nodes, world stops. Your water pump no longer works, your electric vehicle no longer, every solar inverter no longer works. Those things are not running on like 4 nanometer cutting edge. They are working on what you call mature node, as we call it. Oh, by the way, all satellites, they have to have these sort of mature nodes, because again, at high radiation environment of space, smaller nodes bit flips way too often. It's not stable. Heck, if I'm not mistaken, Mars rover, that Curiosity, I think has 180 or 200 nanometer node, the hardware. It has to be that way, so it can handle that much cosmic radiation. So that's the reality of it. Like, China is very good. So China is crawling upwards and they have the base sorted. China is like, bro, we can build from start to finish without an issue. They got that part sorted and they're crawling up. And South Korea, they got the Samsung, and they're good. Like, they're good. And TSMC, they the daddy at this point in time. So Japan went from like, I'm the one to I'm one of them. So that's a very serious thing. However, things have changed. Let's just say after 2015, too many things created chaos now. Market do not like chaos. If market is stable, everybody makes money. If market has chaos, everybody freaks out. So that happened. And what do I mean by, that events, chaos? Two major missiles have been fired. First was US-China tariff war. Now, here's the, why it is important. Here's the, it was happening between two nations and the whole world felt it. That was shocking from, well, every point of view. Nobody likes this idea of like, hey, somebody in some other nation can go kaput and I am dead here. That's not a healthy position to be. That, hey, I have this auto manufacturers and all that. No, you don't. You just have hopes and dreams that everybody else will play nice. Otherwise, you're dead. So that was one very big, powerful missile. Second missile was COVID-19. That literally did that. This created chaos. This finished the job. They actually managed to stop almost manufacturing of the worldwide, simply because China was not, that mature nodes and all that. And not to mention, the pandemic also exposed like how thin they have the buffer setting, so to say. So buffer was not like, hey, we can keep continuing for 1 year. No. Buffer was like 1 week. So that created a scenario where people are like, no, this has to solve. Even if we have to pay extra price, it has to be done. Like, independence became a desirable thing. So this created what we call fertile ground. So chaos happened, destruction happened, that created fertile ground. So Japan fired missile in 2022 and they made up deal with private sector. And the idea is, no matter how much we have to pay, we have to get domestic fabs back again. And I do not mean in terms of get something going, the best, latest and greatest, world's best we have to do. So it's almost like a resurgence where it's like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna be the daddy again. So who are the players in this game? Well, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. Now be mindful, whenever you are hearing this sort of thing, it generally comes from Japanese PM or a head cabinet or things of that nature. But there has to be a different branch that does it, like the bureaucrats, the whole team of bureaucrats. So they generally have their own branches. So this is one of the branch, what we call Ministry of Economic, Trade and Industry. They're like, okay, we got this. We're going to take lead on it. And there is second puppy also, which is New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization. So these two puppies are like from government side. We're like, we are taking care of the red tape. And there are certain major corporation in Japanese. They're small puppies. You may have heard of them, like Toyota, Sony, NTC, NEC, SoftBank. So they are the one who's like, helping the government. Government is carrying a lot of heavy weight, but government is more like, we're gonna make sure that you have everything you need. Like basically, we're gonna remove red tape. And these puppies are the like, we got this. We're gonna be the first what you call customer, so to say. And all of this thing created an investment pool of $1.3 billion for a chip startup, Rapidus, this puppy. And you might be a bit burnt about the word billion, but you have to understand, in startup term, that's damn. That is damn. That is a lot of money. Like generally, startups only make $100, $200 million in fundraising. Directly going to 1.3, it's big. It is big. Yes, established company can just like, Nvidia would be like, bro, that's my chump change, man. That's a different thing. But like a startup just starting out middle of nowhere, yeah, that's a shocking amount of money. And TSMC is also joining in because again, that pandemic taught them that if they do not have established node, they did. So TSMC is not there to make the latest and greatest. They are there to make a established node. Established node could be a bit lower, as in like 40 nanometer, 38 nanometer, but it's the things that you use in your everything else, like air conditioners, stabilizers, solar inverters, VFDs for motors, and VVVFD, as in like variable voltage and variable frequency drives, those sort of things. So they also require silicon. Like microcontroller, all that. So they're going to work on that, specifically focusing on automotive sector. So they should not have a scenario where if China wants to kaput Japan, they're like, okay, all your automotive world kaput, because we stopped, vehicle driving chips. That's the whole point of TSMC. Basically, TSMC is there to fill up the gap. Japan will focus on making the latest tip of the spear, and they will make sure of the rod. So that's the aim of it. So they are big players, and big plots of land have been excavated and ready for the action, so to say. So all this gamble, like there has to be some technology behind it. Yes, the technology is nil, which we call Rapidus is focusing on what we call, they are the what you call center of this thing, and they are bringing Nanoimprint lithography. Now, like, what the hell is that? You have to understand that right now, the most advanced technology we have for making miniature things, as in like nanometer scale, is electron beam lithography. Now, like, then why don't we use that? Well, it is awesome. It is great. And I'm pretty sure all of you know this. Why? Have you ever seen electron microscope? How do you think we are seeing something so small? That's right. We can control it to that level of precision. Like 1 nanometer is generally, give or take, based on, if I'm not mistaken, silicon atoms, it's around 10 atoms. Electron microscope can actually count individual atoms. It's like this is the probability cloud of the freaking electron, and I can count it. So electron beam steering, we great. So we can etch and make structures with electron beam far more than any other machine on this planet, like technology-wise. So we make what we call mask, one-to-one mask. Now it's like, okay, why don't just directly make the chip first? Mask making is a bit different, so you have a bit more wiggle room. Second, electron beam lithography machines are slow, meaning they will take their sweet time to make one mask. It sometimes could take months to make one mask, or one day. Like, it is slow. Like, you take your sweet time. Okay, what are you doing? I'm etching a mask. 10 years later, finally I finished the mask. So it is slow, technology-wise. So this machine, basically ASML machine, this is what we call a copy-paste machine. So you make the master, you take your time, you take your sweet time. Intel engineer will work with the electron beam mask, and they'll make the mask, simulate it, all that jazz. And then it will go into copy-paste machine of ASML. And ASML will basically have ultraviolet that goes into the mask, and mask projects it into a silicon wafer. It is 1-to-1 scale. So they get the full thing done. So these things, they are fast. They can process wafer, full wafer, in as quick as like almost, give or take, 4 or 5 wafers per minute is possible. Like 15, 16 disk they can digest in 1 hour. So they're fast. They're fast. They're like, so that's why everybody uses that. So you have electron beam lithography to make the master. After the master, this is copy paste button. You say Control C. So that's how we get the current silicon system. However, lot of people, lot of companies have tried everything under the sun in order to make this copy-paste machine. Let that be very clear. Everybody knows how to make the master. It's just that how the heck we Control C, Control V it. So a lot of people have worked. But because this industry requires so much sub-architecture, like, so much precise supply chain, that it's like, yeah, if some big company can really bet on it, everybody else works around it. So even if the technology was hard to reach or mature, people will keep working on it because there is no alternative. Any what you call bad move could waste billions of dollars. So ASML is like sorted, ultraviolet is sorted, and nobody has figured out how to make a goddamn ultraviolet diode yet. So what we have is basically tin drop firing with a different laser and then just hoping for the best. So it does work, it's just that we really should find better. Now be mindful, there are other people who are working on X-ray. So there are like at least 5 to 6 research projects. One of them is this Nanoimprint lithography. Now let that be clear, this is a parallel development, not alternative to this, is a parallel. It was used, it is used. There are many systems that you have already used, already utilizing this. Heck, Canon started to talk about this for semiconductor manufacture. There are like a lot of films manufacturing, like film that goes behind a LCD or OLED, those sort of things. They are already done by Nanoimprint lithography. So that part is sorted, the technology is sorted. It's just that nobody has figured out how to do stamping on nanometer scale. So Rapidus somehow figured out, hey, we can take a mask, cool, awesome, a transparent mask, etch the main master structure on it, cool, awesome, and then we're gonna put it on a resin, cool, awesome, then we're gonna flash that puppy with ultraviolet, cool, awesome. But again, this flash is much easier, it's just a flash, it's just like harden everything, and then we're gonna remove the mask. Now that's the magical part. How the heck they're removing the mask? Can you make a structure that small? Of course we can do that. Electron beam is like, bro, I can do that on Wednesday. And can we do this putting there, have enough resin there? Oh, Canon has the idea that instead of dropping resin or spin coating it, they have a printer head going over it and it lays down resin where it needs to. So it's far more elegant. So they are doing that. And then they it. Now doing this, cool. Flashing ultraviolet on this transparent mask so the resin becomes harder. Cool, awesome, GG. How the heck you are removing it? Because at that scale, you are talking about van der Waals force. Like literally the walls will stick to the thing. So how the heck you remove it? And Canon, again, what Canon is saying that they have a master technology that curves it up directly properly. So it removes perfectly rather than like creating shear force. And Rapidus may have some special sauce, something like that. Now be mindful, I'm talking about ultraviolet as well because that's what I think that's been going on. There are other options also, including thermal systems, which I doubt somebody will use. Could be, but I don't think that's what it is. So the idea is you still make your master makes the mask, that mask goes, stamps it. Basically, instead of laser etching it, you physically stamp it. And they also, I think they have solved the issue of like, mask getting deteriorated because it's a physical force. So they're like, okay, master mask is there. They're going to clone it to, daughter mask, and the daughter mask will last thousands of stamping. So that way they can keep the cost down, because if they have to do electron beam matching on every, let's say 100th mask, yeah, that's not going to cut it. So basically how we used to do old analog tape mastering was like your master tape reel, you made masters were sent to publishers, and publishers did it, same thing. So this is one of those systems. If Rapido have a breakthrough, this is the reason why they are doing it. So you can make this sort of small thing. I'm pretty sure you must have seen, like we have made things like etchings on human hair and all that. Electron beam is like, I can do this all day. And this is what actually they are trying to do. Like create a mask, solidify the resin, pull it out, ta-da. How the heck you pull it out? Don't ask me. That's a miracle technology. How the heck you pull it out? So this is the nil technology that everybody is hoping on. Now, okay, so far we got the, brochure of it, but what's the reality? I've seen way too much desire for it to be true rather than it being true. So, as in like people want safeguard, and again, that's a wise thing to want. And again, after the bitch slap of US-China trade war and pandemic, it's a good desire to have. I'm like, all for it. And people know that China is growing. Eventually, they will also start to reach 4 nanometer, 5 nanometer, and then what? So that's a point. And because they have so much of manufacturing sorted, they will flood the market. You will not be able to compete. So that is there. And then you have Taiwanese dependency. Everybody is now worried that half of the people are a bit worried and a bit satisfied. They thought like if Putin did Hadippa on Ukraine and got what he wanted, that 3-day special military option, if that worked, Xi Jinping would have kaputted basically Taiwan a few weeks after that, but that did not happen. So that kind of giving them people a relief where it's like, no, he should know better enough that it's not gonna be like, as easy as they think. Because again, Russia had land bridge. You have a sea to cross, my man. That is not healthy place to cross. So that is giving a lot of people like, hey, we are safe. It's not gonna happen. And other people, he's a dictator. He has to do that. All dictators have a small PP energy. They have to do that. They have no other things to do. So, let's see. So that's why people are not that comfortable with Taiwan dependency also. So claims are free. Let that be very clear. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can make a claim. Government specifically, because it's super easy, super free to say. And it is one thing to say, oh, we had TSMC come here and make a fab and it was ready and producing parts by December of 2024. Yeah, but those are mature nodes. Like TSMC can make that in India now if they want to. So that part is sorted. Mature node means mature node. It's done, sorted. So that is there. And money is not the problem. Let that be clear. It's not like you might be a bit burnt by the money, because if you keep hearing US systems, everything is like $30 billion, $40 billion, $50 billion. Yeah, you don't need that kind of money. But money is not the problem. Time frame is everything in 5 years, as in like almost 2030. You should be like, we good, we got this. It's like, because the biggest problem is the large workforce. Now, Taiwanese culture is very, what you call, stupid. They're like, we work to death. And I'm not even saying that facetiously, that literally do that. And that's what was a problem with basically American firms. Where it's like, okay, we have to find employees for this fabs that you're making. There's Samsung that is trying to make a fab. TSMC is making a fab. Every Tom, Dick and Harry is making a fab. It's just that nobody wants to work. But here's the deal. It's not that nobody wants to work. It's just nobody wants to work like a slave, like in these Asian countries. So they're like, bro, what's the point of like, getting all this education, hyper education and all that, and all you get, oh yeah, you go into this factory and come out when you're dead. What's the point of it? So, and that's why you never hear this sort of things about Europe. It's like nobody will work like that. You cannot sell this sort of work culture into Europe. It's like people are like, no, no, sir. So that's a big issue. Another aspect is like why its idea seems way too, what you call, unsustainable. I can see them in short term, but I cannot see that in long term. Is they do not have population anymore. Their population collapsed long ago. Like the first time their population started to go below 2.1, as in you're gonna die very soon, that was in 1970s. It never recovered. It never freaking, this is so early on, they went swing. Russia went to below 2.1 in 1999. Basically, at the collapse of Soviet Union, people just lost faith. Because again, without babies, you have nothing. All your technologies, all your education, all your palace, they are just ruin in presence of time. And time will always flow. You do not have power to stop time. I do not have power to stop time. No dictator ever born has the ability to stop time. Time will erase it. The only thing that can withstand time is babies. That's why we survived all hell on the planet. And the only time babies' number go down, countries goes kaput. So Japanese culture is too rigid and too stupid. And again, any culture that is harmful to its own youth is stupid. Why? Because it's creating what we call inverted pyramid. As in, elderlies are like, what if I F the younglings? It's like, sir, if they die, you die. And there won't be anything left. There won't be any honor. There won't be, it will be just a ruin, a graveyard. I'm not joking, they actually did this. Like, I was horrified when I first found out that it's normal in Japan to work multiple jobs. It's like, what are you doing at that point in time? And then die. And they call it Karoshi, Karushi. You just, I'm not joking, I actually saw that. It made me uncomfortable for 3 days. There was just a bus driver. He was not that old. He was like healthy looking. And of course, if you are working that much, of course you will look healthy. He comes out of the bus, he walks and he just drops. The end. The end. He de-ended. It's like, what was the point? So that culture is like too rigid, and people will tell you that Japanese culture is very vertical. It's like, if the boss says we do it, it's like, what the hell, what if what boss is wrong? It's not American culture. Where it's like, American culture has a lot of side movement. It's like, okay, if this is not doing, let's Tokyo drift around it. That does not go. And that was another reason why they lost their crown. They could not adapt quickly. If the elders on the top is like, I know what to do, good. If they do not and they still make the decision, you did. So too stupid. And again, if a culture is creating like this, you won't be able to man your fabs for long enough. So birth rate never recovered from 70s. And again, this is the curve. And you might like, hey, it went up. No, it went up to 1.45. You need 2.1. This is below, dangerously below. And basically from 2018, it's been going down. How low? Right now, at the end of 2024, this puppy was at 1.15. There is only one country that is more stupid than this, that is South Korea. They have dropped it to 0.9. I think soon we'll have Russia there, 0.8. So that is there. And to give you a context, like how dangerous this is, last year, as in like 2024, they had 0.69 million births. Sounds good. Here's still how many deaths they had. Yeah, 1.62. They lost 1 million people. You only have to go through few years of this, which again, you are going through few years of this. Few more years, you will have what we call cascade failure, meaning your infrastructure will not be stable. Your colleges, your schools, your health system, your whole financial system will not work. And immigrants, well, yeah, you can use that, but generally we do not hire immigrants to do work fab labs. That's why these fabs are location specific. So the reality of it is like, dude, you have way too much bigger problem to solve. And again, right now, companies are like, hey, if you are pregnant, we're gonna give you like almost 6-7 months of severance and all that. Like, yeah, that's not sustainable. But again, if you're dying, you're like, yeah, this makes logical sense. And I think government just created like, if you're a pregnant woman, all medical services would be like, just bro, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because we are really learning that hard way. It's like, without babies, there is nothing. Without medical science, we still exist. Without running water, we still exist. With world wars, we still exist. Without babies, we do not exist. So that's the reality of it. So I get that. I get the desire. It's just that, do you have something that is stable enough for long enough? Oof. So this was my presentation on that Japanese 1.4 nanometer hype that everybody is talking about. Let's see how it unfolds. I have very limited hope in long term. So I hope you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please hit the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.